Hello students, continuing with chapter classes and objects. In this session we are going to discuss about these topics. First one, arrays as members of classes and array of objects, and next one, objects as function arguments with programming examples and differences between structure and classes. The first topic of this video is arrays as members of classes. I hope all of you know about arrays. Okay, array can be declared as number of a class, and array can be used as private or public members of a class. So what do you mean by an array? An array is a collection of elements, and all the elements have the same name and a same data type. I repeat the definition of an array. It is a collection of elements and all the elements have the same name and the same data type. Elements of the array are accessed by numbers called as subscripts or indices. Okay, so array elements are stored in continuous locations. Okay, stored in continuous locations, and array elements are counted from 0 to n minus 1. And one more advantage of array is what? Useful for multiple reading of elements. It is useful for multiple reading of elements. See here, if x is a variable, and is intended to represent an array of integers, it can be declared as like this: int x of 10 semicolon. Here x is what? Array name, and with size 10. So x can hold 10 elements. So as you can see from this example, to represent an array element, append square brackets to the array name. Between these square brackets indicate either a variable or some other expression, but here I declared what? Variable, integer type of variable with the size 10 inside this square bracket. The index of the element want to access. Okay, let us discuss how to declare an array as class members, and how can we use an array as the members of class. If we use only few data members in a program, individual variables are used to store what? The values. But when a program requires more number of similar data elements, array concept is what? Used. Here more number of similar data elements means, for example, consider group of 100 data members and more. So therefore, an array can handle the homogeneous data elements effectively by storing them in the continuous memory locations. Let us discuss this topic with one programming example. In this program, first step is the header file section. In this section, first one, header file section. Here iostream.h header file contains console input and console output streams, cin and cout, and conio.h header file is used for what purpose? Clear screen and get.ch functions. And one more header file I used here, iomanip.h. It is a header file used for input output manipulators. And next, class definition. Class student, class is a keyword and student is the class name. Inside the class, under private access specifiers, we need to declare what? Data members. Here we declare data members. Okay, under private access specifiers. Here I am going to declare an integer array variable m of 5 with size 5. It shows one-dimensional array representation. Here m is an array name or array element with size what? 5. It can store 5 elements. And I is used for the index number Next, under public access specifier, I am going to declare two member functions, input and output. Both these functions I am going to define outside the class. Okay, input and output. Then closing flower bracket. Here class definition finished. See here. So then terminated by what? Semicolon. The two member variables or data members m with size 5 and I. One is array variable, another one is normal integer variable, cannot be accessed by the outside the class. Okay, and the two member functions input and output. Okay, here input function is used to input the marks and output function is used to display what? Marks of students. Can directly access the member variables, these two. In other words, we can say, you know what, when we write the definitions of these functions, we do not pass these member variables as parameters to the member functions. Okay, and these two member functions, input and output, are public to the class. It can be accessed outside the class. Okay, next we'll see member function defining outside the class. Void student scope resolution operator input function. This input function belongs to the class student. So there are some rules and conditions while member functions defining outside the class. This topic already we have studied in previous session, right? So here void is a return type specifier and student is a class name. Void is a return type specifier and student is a class name. Then scope resolution operator, it is used to define what? A member function outside the class. Next, inside this input function, body of this function contains what? See here. Here I am going to enter or input subject marks, enter marks. Okay, enter marks. So array name m can hold 5 elements. And next for loop statement, this statement is used for executing a block of statements repeatedly until a particular condition is what? Satisfied. Here for I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. Okay. For example, see, when you are displaying number from 1 to 100, you may want to set the value of a variable to 1 and display it 100 times, increasing, right? Its value by 1 on each loop iteration. Increasing its value by 1 on each loop iteration. Okay. So here for in this looping statement, say, I is equal to 0, that is initialization. I value is initialized by 0 and I less than 5, that is the condition. So I value must be equal to 0 or less than 5, means I contains I is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 respectively. Here array variable m is a private member of class student. Okay. Array variable m is a private member of class student. Okay, when you enter first mark, for example 95, this will be stored at the 0th position, that is in m of 0. Next at first position and so on in this array concept. Okay. Next, for this reason we are using what? This for statement. Next, output function is used to display marks. Here see set w of 4. Okay. Here set w, that is what? Manipulator. Okay. Manipulator. What do you mean by manipulator? These are type of operators can be used with the insertion operator to manipulate or format the output. So set w is sets the width for the field. So how much width sets here? Only 4. An array variable, this one m of 5, is a private member of the class student. An int variable I indicates what? Number of elements in the array. Array element marks can be entered only through the member functions input and can be printed on the screen only through the member function output. Next, main of function. Member function definition over in outside the class. Next, main of function. Here see inside this main of function, here we need to create an object s with the class student. So student is class name and s is what? Object name. Then s dot input and s dot output, these two are what? These two are function calls. Here we are calling and executing the member function of the class student through the corresponding objects. Okay. Here we are calling and executing the member functions of the class student, okay, through the corresponding objects. And these functions, see, these functions should always be operated through an object of this same class. See here, the first call s dot input function allows us to enter marks of student to the object yes. Okay, and the second call s dot output allows us to display the entered marks through the object yes. Okay, so member functions of a class can be accessed only by an object of that class. Next, see output of this program. Enter marks 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. After setting width for the field, marks will be displayed like this: 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 in a systematic manner. See, till now we have discussed how arrays as members of class. Now let us see how the array of objects can be declared. Okay, how the array of objects can be declared. An array having class type elements known as what? Array of objects. An array having class type elements known as array of objects. And see the condition, an array of object is declared after class definition and is defined in the same way as any other array. See here in this program segment, here I declared array objects here after the class definition. Okay, let me take one program segment, class employee. Here class is a keyword, employee is what? Class name. Inside this class name I declared what? Data members, name and salary. Okay, name and salary. Name is a string, so it can hold 10 bytes in memory. and salary will be declared by float data type. These two are data members private by default. As all you know, if no access specifier is mentioned, here see, then by default members are what? Private. And under public access specifier, there are two member functions, get data and display data, and close the flower bracket and terminate it by semicolon. Array of object is declared after the class definition employee manager of 3. This is array of object. Okay, this is array manager has been declared as an object of size 3. Okay, so first object here manager, this one, and manager first object is stored at position 0 and second one stored at position 1 and so on. Okay, so first object contains data members are name and salary. Similarly for other two objects also. Okay, so the array manager, this one, contains name and salary information for 3 objects also. Next say, this shows allocation of memory for the class members. So first object employee.manager, okay, it allocates 10 bytes for a name and 4 bytes for a salary variable. Okay, in char data type 1 byte of memory is allocated for each variable. See here, see here, name is declared with the char and salary is declared with the float. So in char data type 1 byte of memory is allocated for each variable, and float data type 4 bytes of memory is allocated for each variable. So salary data member can hold 4 bytes in memory. So total 14 bytes of memory is allocated for each object. Okay, similarly for these two objects respectively, 14 bytes, 14 bytes, 14 bytes. Dear students, don't get confused here. Array within class means you are going to create an array as the members of the class. Okay, array within class means what? You are going to create an array as the member of the class. But here array of objects means once the class has been defined, you are creating multiple objects under one name. Okay, once you are creating multiple objects under one name. Okay, once the class has been defined, see here, once the class has been defined, you are creating multiple objects under same class name. Okay, and all these multiple objects you are going to access using the index or subscript numbers. Okay, you are going to access using the index or subscript numbers. Is it clear? Okay, we'll move to next topic, that is objects as function arguments. Objects as function arguments. See here, a function can receive an object as a function argument, and this is similar to any other data type being sent as a function argument with the function name. An object can be passed to a function in two ways. First method, that is pass by value. Second one is pass by reference. pass by value and pass by reference. Let's see first one. What is pass by value? Here copy of entire object is passed to function. Copy of entire object is passed to function, and here in pass by value a copy of the object is passed to the function, and the function creates its own copy of the object and uses it. Therefore, changes made to the object inside the function do not affect the original object. See the syntax. First, inside class definition, this is a syntax, and outside the class definition, this is a syntax. Here inside the class definition, return type specifier function name with the class name and object name. Okay, see what do you mean by pass by value? Copy of the object is passed to the function object and body of the function. Outside the class definition, here I given one program segment as example. See here, return type specifier, class name, scope resolution operator, function name and class name, object name and body of the function. See here, void tester, void is return type specifier, test is a class name, scope resolution operator. Okay, here objects as function arguments in outside class definition, and sum is a function name. Okay, sum is a function name with arguments test t1, test class name. Here in syntax say test class name, object name, that is t1. Okay, then body of the function contains these two statements. Okay, next see pass by reference. Pass by reference, only address of the object is transferred to the function. Only address of the object is transferred to the function. See the syntax, return type specifier, function name, class name, ampersand is there. Ampersand, object name, that is address of operator. Okay, address operator, and body of the function. Outside the class definition, it contains scope resolution operator and function name with the class name and ampersand object name. In pass by reference, when an address of an object is passed to the function directly works on the original object used in a function call here. Okay, this means changes made to the object inside the function will reflect in the original object. But here in pass by value, changes made to the object inside the function do not affect the original object. See the difference, students? See the difference here. Changes made to the object is inside the function will reflect in the original object because the function is making changes in the original object itself. Okay, because here only address of the object is transferred to the function. Okay, but there in pass by value, copy of the object is passed to the function. Okay, see here example, void tester, scope resolution operator, void return type specifier, test function name, scope resolution operator, and sum is a function name, test here with argument, test class name, ampersand, T1, that is address of operator. T1, that is object name. So here address of the object is transferred to the function sum. Okay, then body of the function contains some executable statements. Let's see one programming example. Program to show object as arguments to functions. Okay, header files iostream.h and conio.h. Next class keyword sample is a class name. Inside this class sample, data member A under private access specifier, here declare data member as A, integer type of variable. Okay, then public under public access specifier void input function. Inside this member function, see, we are going to pass argument. Okay, we are going to pass argument void input. With this member function we are going to pass argument into I. Okay, we'll see what purpose I passed this argument here. Okay, see here, A is equal to I. Body of this function contains A is equal to I. Here I assigned A is equal to I. I value is stored at variable A. Okay, if I am giving value for I, okay, I is equal to 5 means here I value, that 5 value is stored at variable A. Okay, then in this expression what will happen? If I am giving a value for I is equal to 5 means what will happen here? A is equal to I means you will get a value is equal to 5. That is I value will be stored to the variable A. Is it clear? Next void sum function. Inside the class definition we are defining member functions. Okay, void sum sample s1 comma sample s2. Here sum is another member function under public access specifier. One function is input, another one is sum. Here sample s1 comma sample 2, these two are arguments. Okay, arguments, okay, of function sum. Sample, that is a class name, s1 is object, two objects with class name s1 and s2. What I told, what is the syntax for pass by value? Just recall that syntax inside the class. Okay, return type specifier followed by function name with the arguments. Return type specifier followed by function name with the arguments. There are two objects s1 and s2 declared with the class name what? Sample. Inside this see, just we are adding A is equal to s1 dot A plus s2 dot A. Okay, next function void display. This is another member function. So total there are 3 member functions: input member function, sum member function and display member functions. Okay, it is used to display the value of A. Okay, display function, it is used to display the value of A, that is output of A, value of A. So here finished class definition. Next main of function. sample S1, S2, S3. Declaration of objects. Okay, we need to create objects S1 and S2 and S3. These three are what? Objects. We can create any number of objects, that depends on the requirements of our program. So please note one thing here. Any changes which is made S1 and S2, okay, will not get reflected back to the actual objects. Okay, any changes which is made for S1 and S2 will not get reflected back to the actual objects. So what are the changes you are making here for S1 and S2 inside the sum function? Okay, here see what are the changes you are making here for S1 and S2 inside the sum function. It will not get reflected back to the actual object. Okay, this is what pass by value. See here, starts with the first object S1. S1 dot input, okay, bit value 10. Here I passing value 10. Okay, I value 10. Here accessing the member functions, what will be happen now? Control will be direct transfer from here to here. Okay, here to here. Control will be direct transfer from here to here, input function. Okay, void input of int I. I am directly passing value for input, that is 10. What is there in input function? See here, int I. So what is the value I give here for I? 10. So 10 value will be assigned to variable I. So I will get the value 10. Therefore A is equal to I. A is equal to I means this 10 is now assigned to the variable A. Okay, this 10 is now assigned to the variable A. What is the new value of A now? A is equal to 10. We'll move for the next one, that is S2 dot input of 20. S2 dot input 20. So here S2 is second object. Again control will be transferred from here to here. Okay, then I value becomes what? 20 and stored to variable A. A is equal to now what? 20. Next S3 dot sum of S1 S2. Where the control will go now? S3 dot sum of S1 S2 means where the control will go now? To sum function. To sum function here. Okay, sum sample S1 sample S2. Here S1 means value 10, S2 means value 20. Here adding S1 and S2. So what is the value for S1? Now 10, S2 20. Therefore A is equal to 10 plus 20, that is equal to 30 will be the answer. Okay, that will be stored in the variable S3. That will be stored in the variable S3. Okay, next we need to output this. So S1 dot display. So function for output for first object S1. Control goes to display function here. In S1 value of A is equal to now 10. Similarly for S2 dot display. Similarly for S3 dot display. That is value for second object 20, and for third object S3 is equal to 30. See, value of A is equal to 10, value of A is equal to 20. See here, first call, second call, and third one, value of A is equal to 30. Next, last topic of this chapter, differences between structure and class. Differences between structure and class. See one by one. A structure is defined with the keyword struct. Okay, structure is defined with the keyword struct, and here in class is defined with the keyword class. Okay, this is the first difference. And all the members of a structure are public by default. Okay, all the members of a structure are public by default, but here in class all the members of a class are private by default. Public, private. See the difference. And structure cannot be inherit and class can be inherit. Structure cannot be inherit, but here in class can be inherit. Fourth difference, a structure contains only data member. Okay, structure contains only data member or structure members. A class contains both data member and member functions. Is it clear? Last point, there is no data hiding features here in structure, but in classes having data hiding features by using access specifiers public, private and protected. Okay, this chapter ends here. Thank you students.